Welcome to the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts Marc, Ernay, and Cassels, coming to you from Radio Wave Studios in New York City. Now, let's kick off the show.
Well, hi again, everybody, and we welcome you to the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands. I'm Marc Ernay. Cassels is my co-host, and Mr. Cassels, today is Arsenal Gunners Day.
That's right. It's Arsenal. And we had a great time out there at O'Hanlon's. We got a chance to talk to Cristiano Adiutori, who's the ringleader of the Arsenal supporters groups, but he's also the bartender and just an amazing human being. And we got a chance to have him into the studio here and talk with him for a bit about Arsenal, about fandom, about, being in touch with others and just sharing a community experience.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super stoked and excited to have so many good people around me in this beautiful day in New York City.
New York City, yeah. Beautiful fall day. Fall day. I'm going to dive us in here and just say, while we know you're a big Arsenal fan, Cristiano, how did you become an Arsenal fan and why?
Oh, man, it's been a question that everybody asks because I'm Italian, bartending in an Irish bar, which is already bizarre. And then people ask me why you support Arsenal, you're Italian. And at the beginning, it was kind of tricky because, you are just doing it for the money. And my answer was no. And I explained why. When I moved from Italy 15 years ago, the bar wasn't even an Arsenal bar. It was a sport bar, a soccer bar, and a football bar regular. And then I had people asking me, would you put the Arsenal match on TV? I was like, oh, absolutely, no problem. And I don't know much about the team. I would like to learn more. And if you want to, watch it. At the time, they were just showing a couple of matches, a couple of games a week, a month, sorry. So not much to watch. No Carabao Cup, no Champions League, no nothing. Soccer wasn't really popular in the States at the time. And so 2 became 5. Let me mention the 2 people were Lisa and Kevin, legendary. They started basically the whole movement. And then 5, 10, and my passion for Arsenal didn't start because I was watching the game. Because, when you bartend, you face the crowd, you face the fans. It started because I fell in love with the fans. Eventually, when he picked up and he started being like many more than 4 and 5, I fell in love with the vibe, the positivity, the good time. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I want to be part of it. And without being pretentious. And I started really falling in love with the fans. And then eventually learning more about the club. And then fast forward 15 years, I completely fell in love with the team and the values and the culture of the team. Because for me, we were talking about before about how I got into soccer in general. And I grew up in Italy, born and raised in Italy, in Rome. And my father was the doctor at the Olympic Stadium. So 7 years old till the age of 20, basically leaving into the stadium to see my father on Sunday, and growing up with that energy, with that spirit. But the 80s and the 90s in Rome, in Italy, were not very pretty. So to be honest with you, I kind of lost interest for soccer for the reasons that I'm gonna tell you. It was very homophobic. It was very violent. It was very racist. And when you're 7, you don't understand. But when you're 20, you're like, can I curse?
Yes.
Fuck that. It wasn't for me anymore. I mean, I realized it wasn't for me. It wasn't inclusive. It was, you lose the game, you get angry. And there was like very serious situations, stabbing, people were killed at the stadium back in the 80s and the 90s. And it was something I didn't want to be part of. So I moved to this country. I knew it was no interest for soccer in US. I was like, amazing. I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm done with that. And when Arsenal started being something, I talked to my fellow Arsenal fans, Gunners, and I asked if we could please start watching soccer with a different kind of culture, more positive, more inclusive. And it was a bumpy ride, I had to admit. In a couple of situations, I have to step up and say, if you keep doing this, which is like rage, yelling at the TV, saying words that are not particularly appropriate, I was like, I'm not on board. I'm going to shut down the TV and you can go fuck off.
First off, good for you. I wanna say that because setting the vibe when you have at least 1,000 people in a tiny space. Because I full disclosure, I went to watch the Leeds Arsenal game early in the year. Cristiano was lovely and brought me in, and I had an amazing experience. And we'll recap some of that. Marc and I will recap some, and I have some audio from the event. But having that many people with alcohol that are everyone was positive. There was not one, there was no negativity. And it's so easy to have people like step on a foot or something like, something happens in the game or someone looks at another person the wrong way. It's just bar culture in New York City, or really bar culture anywhere. Alcohol can feed to negative things, and that didn't exist. It was so positive. Everyone was nice. They were singing. So I just want to make sure I hit on that and turn it back over because it really was awesome.
I really appreciate you said that and you had that kind of feedback. It's very important for me. It actually paid out after so many years. It paid out because I had, I tell you this story, a very interesting story. I don't want to talk bad about any other sport, but I'm not American. I'm an immigrant. So, and working in an Irish bar as an immigrant, as an Italian, non-Irish immigrant was kind of tricky at the beginning. People were not really trusting an Italian behind the bar pouring a Guinness, rightfully so. I'm not saying it was wrong, but the sport culture was in a certain point at that stage in which people on a Sunday, one time, this person said, "Hey, buddy, remember to tell your brothers, soccer fans, this is America. On Sundays, American football." And in that moment, instead of getting upset, I replied with the American language, which is money. And don't get me wrong, I live here, I love this country, and I understand that language. And I said, listen, buddy, when football plays, it's only 5 months a year. It's only, and let's be honest, if your team doesn't get the playoffs, you're not going to come. So financially, soccer is more profitable. And it was the end of the conversation. I didn't want to get into the nuances of why I love soccer, why you love football. Everybody loves whatever they want. But financially, business-wise, it was a better investment if you want to speak that language. And it paid out. It also paid out the way we started doing more positive watching games in some fashion. So even women that usually they're not very, I don't want to see accepted, but now very welcomed because, it's easy to, the effect of alcohol, misbehave or... people of color, LGBTQ community, and now even more, I'm pushing on inclusion of transgender people that are being very ostracized in this country, and it paid off because they feel included. And again, speaking the language of money, we make more money. If you don't want to talk about moral compass or ethical values, well, I'm happy to talk about money, and we're making more. And everybody's kind of understanding this, and I'm glad, because why not? One of the most interesting thing about, changing the culture comes actually from fans from London. We have many, many people coming from London. Beautiful shout out to the Tollington, the best, one of the most renowned Arsenal bar in London. Olive, the bartender over there, good friend of mine was at the Helens a few years ago, and we lost that game against West Ham. She started looking at the end. She started looking around a little confused because nobody was actually getting upset or showing any anger. And she's like, "This is very bizarre." It's like, what's going on? What did I do right? What did I do wrong? No, it's very different vibe, and I really like it. And then she stopped and said something that really still carry in my heart, and I want to tell. She said, sometimes it's funny. At the Tollington, sometimes I feel the Arsenal fans wants the team to lose to justify their misery. And it's not because of the the country or the city, because I feel it was the same in Rome, in Italy. Sometimes you try to surround yourself of mediocrity and sadness and misery because you feel bad, you feel down, and you want to be sure that everybody around you are the same, which it's understandable, but it's not a good bet. I promise you, if you're surrounded by happy people, it's contagious, and
it brings your vibration up.
Yeah, it does.
It really does. I like. While we're not a wellness podcast, we do subscribe to positivity and bringing the vibration up and bringing people to it. And everyone was on the same frequency there, and it was, like you said, it was diverse. There were a lot of women there. They were having a great time. They were not. It just was such a great vibe. I'm not going to dive too, and there were people that I interviewed that are coming from not just out of the country, out of the country and out of the state. Like people were coming up from Virginia. I interviewed two guys from Virginia, and they were like, "No, we came specifically to this bar because we wanted to see what it was like." And they've been to the stadium. They've experienced it there, but they wanted to come here. And there was a French guy as well, a French and a German guy, and they were like, "Yeah, we wanted to come in. We heard this bar was really good." So it is getting not just within New York City known, and that's kind of why we want to amplify this, is you got something to do in New York City, you're visiting New York City, and you actually want to have an awesome experience.
Sometimes we forget that we live in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know where you're born, but I see when people are born and raised in New York, they forget to live in the... I'm sorry, I don't want to say it. Yeah, it's in the best city in the world. I traveled the world, man. I lived in Argentina, Brazil, France, all over Europe, Asia, and I have to admit, the diversity and the vibe of New York City is unparalleled.
It is. When it's good, it's really, really good. And I remember, and I keep bringing it back because I'm a Yankees fan, and I keep bringing it back, and I'm sure listeners are going to start being like, stop talking about the Yankees constantly. But the only thing I've seen that comes close to this is playoff baseball with the Yankees. Like, when the Yankees are in the playoffs, everything stops. When the Knicks are in the playoffs, everybody stops and listens. The whole city jumps a little bit more. The whole city's happy. Even if they're not fans, they know what's going on. They know they walk by, hey, everyone's gathering there, and people want to hang out with other people who are being positive.
It connects people. Yesterday, I'm in charge of the O'Halloran's Instagram, so every time fans are coming from all over the world, they text the page, and it's me, and I live 4 blocks away from O'Halloran's. And this guy is like, hey, buddy, I just landed from London. I'm at the bar right now, and I'm like, give me 5 minutes, I'll be right there. What? It's like,
really?
Yeah. And I was dining with a friend, and it's like, I gotta go. There's a gooner at O'Halloran's. I gotta go. And I went there. We had a little chat. I showed him the mural. And then eventually another Arsenal fan came over. Oh, I'm gonna come for the Arsenal City game. And all of a sudden, that's what was the best part of the whole night. Unity throughout sport, which is the only reason why we actually... I would say for myself, I'm 50 years old. I don't look for...
Would never be able to tell looking at you, though.
Thank you, I'm flattered. But I don't actually look for the trophy, the winnings. I enjoy the ride. I know for a fact that even if you win everything, the day after, you're back on square one. I'm a musician myself, and one of the most heartbreaking feeling, honestly, is when you play a beautiful show. I played Irving Plaza, great shows, hundreds of people. The morning after, you wake up and you're back on square one. You feel on top of the world, and then the day after, the same thing. So if you don't enjoy the ride, if you don't enjoy the rehearsals, if you don't enjoy that game you almost lost, that draw, that they re-scored the last minute goal, and everybody, even if against Bournemouth, which theoretically you should win against 5-0, and you almost lost. If you don't enjoy that moment, it just makes no sense. And then eventually you stop watching the game, you start enjoying the company of the people right next to you, and that they say something that really resonates with you. And you realize you're surrounded by good people, a safe environment. I couldn't stress enough that it's a safe, at least O'Halloran's is a very safe environment for everybody. This movement called her game too just joined us. Actually, we joined them. They based in UK. They just opened a new branch in US, and it takes care of making sure that women are safe in bars. The poster is in the bathroom, the women's bathroom. So if anything happens, you can point to the QR code and report what happened. And we, staff, we know what's going on. And we're going to definitely be vigilant. We don't want to police, but just being vigilant and say the right word at the right time to de-escalate whatever eventually possibly can come. Because, you can tell if the vibe is not exceptional that day, and just say something like, hey man, maybe buying a shot, maybe say something nice, maybe like, bro, come on, not today, please. I can't. It's hard for me too. I'm a fan behind the bar. Imagine how hard it is for me.
Yeah.
And I remember the Champions League when we lost against Paris Saint-Germain. By halftime, there was a lot of animosity outside of the bar. And the only thing I said, hey, please, we might lose this, but we are in the semi-final of the Champions League. We had such a great time. We won against Real Madrid. Can we enjoy this? Or we have to be miserable one more day? I don't want to.
That's awesome. I don't want to. My wife is a former bartender, and she loves bar culture, and she writes about it a lot. And the bartender is the boss, for the shift. We look to the bartender. Like, some people just want to chat you up. Some people want to, hey, I just want to get my drink. But everybody listens to the bartender, and that's why it's really good that you have that with the QR code. And just if ladies are feeling awkward, slip a note to the bartender, kind of thing of that. They are there to help you and help everyone have a wonderful experience. Because, yeah, when someone is mean, rude, obnoxious at the bar, everybody notices, and it brings the whole vibe down. Everybody notices that.
Guys, a good place for us to jump in here. Remind everybody we are talking about O'Hanlon's, which is on East 14th, right off of First Avenue. So, Cristiano, I'm very curious to know, you've got all these fans showing up at O'Hanlon's to watch the matches, and I'm wondering, please, what makes match day so special at O'Hanlon's when Arsenal's playing?
All right, thank you for asking. This is actually the most exciting part of the whole endeavor. The Arsenal fans are absolutely the wildest, the most resilient and devoted people I've ever seen in my life. The reason why I opened the bar at hours that are not entirely legal in New York. But so game day starts the night before. We have Mr. Peter doing the chalk. So basically, he draws on the sidewalk these memes about the game is gonna happen. So we start with the chalk. And game day is interesting because I put on Instagram the hours I'm going to open the doors, but everybody knows that I'm going to be there an hour before. So those beautiful people, they show up an hour before, and some of them, they come to my apartment and wait for me, so they be sure to be the first at the bar, which is kind of intimidating, but no, it's not. It's just extremely flattering. So I meet Mr. Patrick Dunn, who is also in charge of the Fandom Cup. It's a competition, a tournament that we play every year against different Arsenal bars. We are the winners of this year. And shout out loud to all the Arsenal bars in the city. There are very many, and they're all absolutely beautiful. So game day, we start walking to the bar to the bar with a bunch of people. I have to say also that sometimes I do the walk with Dylan. I walk with Dylan. Dylan lives on 114th Street, and he just had a baby a few years ago, so he cannot come very often. But when he does very early, and he walks from 114th to 14th Street. And one day I see him a little sweaty. He's like, "What's going on?" No, I walked. It's like, did you walk from your apartment to the bar? Yeah, okay. Next time I'll walk with you. So it started like 3 years ago. some games we walk together, and like the scene in Rocky when he runs and the whole city comes joining him is the same with the I Walk with Dylan. We started 3 years ago, and now it's a thing. We walk from 114 sometimes, and he made the bracelet, so hashtag I Walk with Dylan. And we walk together to the bar, and it's just another great idea, experience to do with the Arsenal fans. So game day, if the game is, let's say the game is at 12, I open the bar at 8, I'm already there at 7. People get in to get the best seats. Some of them, they made pillows because they're going to sit for so long. They need pillows. Yep. And also basically, 2 hours before the game, the bar starts getting a little bit close to capacity, and like an hour and a half, an hour before the game, we get capacity. Last year and the year before, 36 games on 38 were at capacity. So when people ask, what time should I come? Listen, man, as early as you can. We always have a line outside, and the bouncer, the doorman, good man, Mason, he's always baffled, and people stay in line the whole time to try to get in.
They do. It's a long line.
And it's beautiful because I understand why. It's because they want to breathe the energy that comes from the bar. We are loud, we sing the songs. So keep going with the energy of game day. Everybody is free to bring their food, the coffee, so we start talking and chatting. Then they release the roaster of the day, and we start chatting, and the conversation. I myself and my partner in crime and mentor Devin, we start introducing the newcomers, people that come for the first time from all over, Virginia, as you said, Asia, Africa, all over the world. So introducing, because we were talking before we started the podcast, I have a huge social anxiety myself, and I always had massive problem when I was younger in lose a little bit in environments that I was not comfortable with. I didn't know anybody, so everybody looks so cool, everybody looks so handsome, I'm ugly and alone. The feeling. I'm like, oh my God, I can't. Everybody knows each other. I don't know anybody. How I gotta match that energy, and I know I spot those faces right away. So, hey man, what's your name? Where you coming from? Calm down. I introduce you to this, and that. Please talk to them. Make new friends, please. That's for me massive. When you came to the bar, the first thing I want to do is introduce you to the crowd, because then you are a face in the crowd. We already are ghosts in this incredible, beautiful, but
huge city.
You can be so anonymous and disappear and feel lonely, and it's not a great feeling. I suffer from that kind of anxiety for the longest time, and I understand deeply what it means. Feeling lonely, surrounded by millions of people, is the worst. And then what happens? You isolate yourself because I'm not accepted. They don't want me. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. Well, maybe it was a mistake to come to New York. It was a huge mistake. No, it wasn't. What's your name? What you do? Where you're from? There's definitely something we have in common, and it's Arsenal. So at the very least, that's that. So game day, boom, we have some breakfast, we have a couple of coffees, we start chatting, and then I start playing some videos. I have a microphone so I can introduce the fans. Every fan comes out with some new idea. So, for example, Damien came out with the idea of the mural. Waja, who I introduced you to game day for Leeds, is climbing the Kilimanjaro with the Arsenal jersey, doing it for charity. And the Cannon Cup with Patrick. So we need more players for the game, for our games. And everybody does. I'm doing coasters. Can you promote it a little bit? Absolutely. This is John. He's doing coasters. Buy some. A QR code over there. Cathy next door is doing 10% off of the Arsenal. So basically, for the 2 hours before the game, it's a lot of brainstorming. I would call it brainstorming, based on the fact that you can count on a big community that backs up every idea you have. Yesterday I was talking to this guy, super young, like after I swear to God, 30 minutes, like, but brother, what's your dream? And he was so shy and saying, I would love to open a bar. What did you tell me now, man? Please, when you want to do it? Oh my God, I'm so, I don't know if I absolutely you're an Arsenal fan. Next time when you for the City game, I'm gonna tell everybody to talk to you. I know the industry. I can help you. And if you open the bar, knowing so many people that drink, you're gonna already have some people that might want to come and check your place.
Yep.
So that's what we do. I am not afraid. I never been. It was a risky bet back in the days. I was never afraid of telling people, go visit the other Arsenal bar that just opened. Go try the other place. Go see Philadelphia. Go there. Go there. The more we are, the bigger this movement becomes. I used to say, we started as a family. We became a community, and now it's really a movement, a social movement. I don't use the word political movement because it can be divisive, but it's a social movement based on roots of ethical values, very good, positive ethical values, and that I really believe in, that I grew up with, and actually that I learned from Tom, the owner of O'Halloran's, and Devin, the person that started the whole thing with me, who was the one person who set the bar of the values and the culture of the games very high. Literally teaching me, was at the time I wasn't even speaking English very well. He was the one teaching me not just how to bartend, but how to deal with people in a positive way. You were saying, before they listen to the bartender, but if the bartender start yelling at people and being a bitch, it doesn't really get to the point. You just get angry with that person, and you react badly. No, we're there, especially with newcomers or people that start drinking for the first time. We're there to teaching how to behave and how to enjoy a glass of beer, how to behave when you are maybe intoxicated, and maybe stop before you do and you say something stupid. Listening to the bartender, because we are there for you, not against you. We are there for you to make this the most beautiful experience of your life. And me, myself, I had to stop drinking because I wasn't able to do the thing that I'm preaching now.
And I will say, you're jumping on the bar. You're singing songs. You're leading songs. There's people with drums there. I mean, I've learned actually when I'm going to these games, I can't imagine if I had a few drinks that I wouldn't be able to conduct these interviews. Like you need to be present, but you're rewarded by being present instead of drinking too, because you get a whole new sense of energy and a sense of emotions and a sense of dopamine hits, if you will.
They give me so much. The Arsenal fan gives me so much. Last thing I want to say before I forget, it's very important to me. During COVID, I had my personal mental breakdown, as everybody of us. And when we reopened the bar, O'Halloran's, I don't want to sound tragic or depressing, but I was really on the verge of doing something really stupid. And the fact that I had to open the bar for the Arsenal match gave me a reason to live.
That's the kind of thing that sport has, though, and it brings us back from the brink. And anyone out there listening and I'm feeling lonely, and I talk about this a lot with my wife. Of part of why wanting to do this here is there are some really great experiences out there that many of you who are listening don't understand that are out there, and they are not just going to museums, and it's not just going out at 7 o'clock. They happen at 10 in the morning. They happen at 12, and they're wonderful experiences like going to O'Halloran's and going to I won't say the other bars on here because we'll do that on other episodes, but there are places where everyone is inclusive, is saying, come join me and have a positive, fun time and set your day off right.
And it links with the question that you asked me before. How would you attract people to become an Arsenal fan? If I can connect with the question you asked me before. And I would say, first of all, praising people of color and women and the LGBTQ, which single-handedly made O'Halloran's a safe place. So I would invite everybody those kind of minorities, if I can say minorities, even women are not a minority, but they treat it like minorities, to come to O'Helens because it's a very safe place. Arsenal is a very good club that has very deep values. If you go to the stadium, there's banners for like gay gooners, women gooners, women gooners, women. Actually, we now playing all the Arsenal women games as well this year. They won the Champions League. The bar was absolutely packed for the Champions League final, and it was a beautiful moment of reconciliation, kind of, with sport and women. I was very happy. There was a group of transgender people that felt very safe, and I was very proud of that. I told them specifically, you are safe with me. I really told them, because I know that can be tricky in this day and age to go to an Irish bar or whatever sport bar, and everything can happen. Like, I'm here, man. I'm with you. So I would say, and when I say the culture of people of colors, because Arsenal was famous back in the days to be one of the first few teams, including players, black players in the squad. And there's a beautiful book out now called Black Arsenal that explain very well this movement. And now you were talking about Saka, black player, and it attracts a lot of black people being inspired of being an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal player, because you feel included. You mirror yourself in something that is not very common.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely beautiful. And it happens to be also the best player in the league. So, yes.
He might be in England. And Mark, you may even know a little bit about this, but there was... It was a couple Euros ago where Saka missed the penalty kick.
Yes.
And everyone in England
against
Italy, but everyone was like, well, they were worried about him because he was a kid. He was the youngest player, and everyone was like, what is going to happen to his mindset? And Arsenal took him under their wing and was positive, and he's flourished. He is. If you ask an Arsenal fan, I think they would probably tell you he's the best player in the world.
It's something else that we were talking before about, like coming second all the time. We being made fun of because Arsenal comes second all the time. England happened to have two finals, and I understand the disappointment of the fans. But at the same time, I want to quote. Not I want to quote, but a good friend of mine is Erwan Saunier, who was a former professional soccer player. He actually played in Monaco with Thierry Henry. He's one of the customers of O'Helens Bar. He's an artist now, and also he coaches kids. And he was so baffled by the attitude, the negative attitude of the Arsenal fan, or coming second all the time. And he said, in France, in Europe, we are vice winners. We are vice champions. This is not the second loser. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Again, I don't want to talk shit about American culture, but I just want to appoint the fact that the concept of who's the greatest, the second loser, only the winners, the takers, they take them all. It's very different. It's not a healthy culture.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. You don't win. You're gonna die eventually, brother.
Yeah.
We all gonna die. And you won, you lost. I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, what the most important thing is the camaraderie. He came to the bar. I'm talking to Erwan. The story is the following. He's playing his little league with the kids. They lose the final, and the parents leave the field with all the kids before the award ceremony, and they have the medals for the second place. And he goes on to do the speech, and there's no players. Everybody left the field. He got so depressed, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he said, I don't understand. It's this idea that if you don't win, you're a loser is so messed up. And he comes to the bar, he tells us, and it's me and Devin, we hug him. We have a moment in which, absolutely, I totally understand. I don't embrace that concept. I'm okay. We come in second all the time. And the same thing with England. And I'm not preaching to English people how to leave their culture and leave the passion for soccer. But again, twice going in the final twice and losing with penalties.
In penalties.
It's really losing with penalties. I was behind the bar for the final against Italy, and they scored the first goal. That was definitely the better team. We won at penalties, and we actually had a very good moment in which I was in tears. Everybody else was in tears. We grabbed the microphone and we reminded everybody that we're here, especially because we were coming after COVID. We were here. We were blessed to be alive. We were blessed to be watching a great soccer game. We were blessed to be around each other again.
Yes.
In a packed, crazy, loud, sweaty bar. And whoever won wasn't the point of the day. And Paul, who's a Notts County fan, was absolutely devastated. And we were hugging. I love you, man. I love you too. He's English, and I'm Italian. And we're trying to reconnect with the real roots. I don't want to sound like a fucking hippie. It's like everybody should love each other. No. But I just want to remind maybe myself that the pain you feel when you lose, it should be rephrased, reimagined in a different way. Devin, my good friend and mentor, is struggling, right? He's a writer, struggling writing the story of this Arsenal. He's like, I cannot write it if we don't win. If it's no happy ending, there's no story. And I'm like, I so disagree with you, man. That's the actual story. The team that never happened. The winner never came. The best losers of the world. The best team in the world that never made it. How epic, legendary, how more relatable for a human being is losing and being on the top of the world and losing the battle against life, because eventually we're going to lose the battle against life. But if you approach that loss, with
it's the journey,
with love,
yes,
and with the passion, without feeling that it actually was a loss, but with embracing this moment. Because it's a moment in time. You're alive and then you disappear forever. It's a moment. Embrace it as a moment and not as a challenge. I hate that. As a challenge. I'm going to live forever. Oh, there's a paradise. There's an afterlife. Nah, ain't happening. It's here and now.
Enjoy this moment. Enjoy the experience. No, it's like we were saying before. What vibration are you at? And coming in, and I will say that the O'Hanlon's experience was at that. And it was, I was lucky enough to be there during a win, but I feeling that even in a loss or a tight game, it still would have been as rambunctious and boisterous because everyone's just excited to be there together, having a communal experience. I actually can think it more akin to a rock concert where there's no winner or loser. We're all there for the journey. Yeah, I just saw Oasis and all the Man City fans were out there, and everybody likes a rock concert because it's about the journey. Everyone's at the end singing along and treating. That's why that's why I've got into soccer. So it was like a rock concert. Everyone was fun. Everyone was having a great time. They were banging drums. They were singing. There was even in a loss, there was that was just really fun. I enjoyed that, and that's what I really, really loved about going to O'Hanlon's there, and to several of the other bars that I've had the luxury of. Mark and I have had the luxury of going out and experiencing. Is that it's fun. It's bringing up positivity with other people, with strangers. And then within an hour later, you guys are all hugging each other. You don't even know this person. And you're like, goal scored, yeah, and everything. I'm like, all right, I'm hugging this person here and that person there. I probably won't see them again. But we enjoyed that experience together there. But
Cristiano, just curious, given everything that goes on Premier League match days, how different are the midweek 12:45 New York time Champions League games?
But now that the Champions League is a little different and we have more games, we definitely have the first few games a little slower. But I'm telling you that still, the thing is a different crowd. Some people are in incognito because they're supposed to be at work and they are at the bar watching.
Yeah.
So this kind of feeling is like, I'm not here, don't look at me. Shut down the cameras,
no
don't
pictures.
take selfies. So there's this feeling of not being there and still watching the game. And to be honest, and I understand, the weekend games are not for everybody. They're very loud. there's way more people that you sometimes want to be around.
Yeah.
It's massive. So, and some people have not claustrophobia, but they're really
It can be
don't-
claustrophobic. It
Yeah.
can be very tight.
So the midweek is for all those people that want to enjoy and just enjoy a beer and the game. So they're actually very, very enjoyable. Tomorrow we have Arsenal playing for the Champions League against Athletic Club, and I'm going.
Bilbao's a good game. That's going to be a great game.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure that people that don't want to go, and also, old timers that used to come to the bar when it wasn't that packed, and now they cannot stand that many people. No, they can't stand. Sorry, it's not the right word. They cannot. It's not their vibe anymore.
You're standing
what
for
I mean?
yeah.
It's a lot, and even emotionally, you have some people that really like the crowd, but emotionally it's too much. It can be really, really tough. I myself found crying many times behind the bar. The emotion is in absolutely absurd. The first game of the season against Manchester United, I crushed at the end of the game in tears because so much. Not just attention, but
You're grabbing everybody's aura. Like it's all coming up to you as a musician. You're probably used to that too when everyone's like,
but there's a lot of expectation also because the team is so good. So you're expecting a lot now. It's just like when you are a small team and you win against a big one. Oh, kudos for you! Like, what was the team that won against United during
Grimsby, right?
Yeah. So that emotion, imagine, did you see the video with the fans jumping on the field and going bananas? That's a different kind of vibe that the Highlands, when with that expectation the club has, the pressure is insane. And I crushed a couple of times, completely destroyed. You imagine being behind the bar and facing the crowd and all the yelling and the chanting. You have 200 people singing against you. It gets so loud.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of bartenders and bar back quitting on the spot during the games because they were overwhelmed by the crowd. I totally understood.
I think that's the musician in you because I've spoken to I've been on stage a little bit. My wife is on stage, stand-up comedian, but I've also talked to opera singers about. There's an opera singer who talked. I can't remember her name, and I'll drop it in later. But she talked about when she's on stage, she has this umbilical cord to every person in the audience, giving their energy. And that is your aura is getting out, and you're pushing stuff out, and everybody is giving their energy towards you, and it can be extremely overwhelming.
It has to become a two-way energy. If you start getting egotistic and jumping on the bar because you want to look cool, it's not gonna work because their energy is stronger than yours. So the only thing you can do is be in a mirror and getting the energy and giving back as soon as you can. And in a way, in some fashion, I don't want to sound like philosophical, but disappearing and becoming an amplifier of that energy. And so as an amplifier, as a megaphone, kind of becoming a tool and no longer a person, which is something I learned. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't like that. I enjoyed the fact that I was Cristiano, I was the man singing the song for me. At the beginning, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't the right way to do it. It wasn't working. It looked phony. It looked silly at times, and I learned my way in this last 15 years, and again thanks to Devin, I learned my way. I learned how to get that energy and return the energy. And when the energy was negative because we lose the games, getting our shit together, and as Devin used to say, we're here for the people, man. We're here for the people. Get your feeling together. We're here for the people. They're depressed, they're sad, they're drunk. They need you to say something. And unfortunately, because of these new ideas for me, because again, I'm being born and raised in Rome with the culture of soccer being all about violence.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, violence, pure violence. In the 80s and 90s, Italy wasn't as rich as it is now, and people were like unemployed, poor, and soccer was the only thing they had. And if the team doesn't perform, they were like...
The knives are coming out.
Yeah, I was there when people like jumping up and down and yelling at my father, I'm gonna fucking kill you, saying, that's the only thing I have, and that's how you performed? Really?
And there's a lot
Are
of
you
that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Do you understand? I have $10. The only $10 that I had, I spent for the ticket tonight. And that's the way you perform. I don't care if you win, you lose. You're going to spit blood on the fucking field.
Yeah. I know. There's a sense of ownership. Sense of
Yeah.
ownership there. That's a little bit of the dark side of
Which is
the
the
ultras
dark,
out there.
which makes so much sense, and I don't want to diminish. Absolutely, don't want to diminish. Coming back to the two finals that the British, England lost, I don't want to diminish that passion and that anger and that feeling. Just repurpose.
Yeah.
Repurpose that. Second, two finals was an amazing team. It's still an amazing team, I believe. Even if I'm Italian, I don't want England to win, but I know and I can see that you got two finals. Italy didn't even make the World Cup twice in a row. So what are we supposed to say about that?
Yeah.
So like repurpose that energy in a different way. Please do it for the sake of our enjoyment, for the sake of soccer, football. It's an amazing sport. It's an international, global sport. Now, more than ever, the World Cup is going to be here next year. Now, more than ever in New York, we are attracting everybody in the world. It's a huge opportunity to shine, to tell people what you do. You know, I'm a musician. Your wife is stand-up comedy. I don't know what you do because there's a lot. I would like to ask you, for example, but not today, maybe at a different time. But what you do, and it's going to be a huge opportunity. But if you start using this energy in a wrong way, it's a missed opportunity. 10 million people are supposed to be coming to the island of Manhattan for the World Cup final. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. And they're going to come and bring all their energy, positive and negative, and so you want to keep it
and
positive.
again, to speak the language of capitalism, which I'm not against too, a lot of money too.
That's true. Yeah, and they're going to be coming to the bars because if they don't have a ticket, they're going to be coming to the bars. I know Marc had hit up a few during the FIFA Club Cup, and he had bumped into lots of Brazilians and lots of other. There were a lot of people that we were kind of surprised at how many people descended upon New York City for something that people were talking down. The FIFA Club Cup's not going to be that much. It's not going to be that great. Ticket prices are through the roof. People still came. People still enjoy themselves. Yeah. People still love New York City, and it's not just Arsenal fans. We talk to Everton fans, and they come in like, I love New York City, and I'm coming to watch a game here, and the game is important, but I also want to experience New York City.
Right.
And O'Hanlon's is I've lived here. I'm not going to age myself, but it's decades.
Okay.
And that was one of the most unique bar experience, and I've done a lot of bars, and I've gone to concerts and traveled the globe, and it was a very unique, positive experience, and I still, several weeks later, like to talk about it.
Guys, that is a perfect place for us to wrap this episode up.
This has been the Ultra World Podcast, the soccer fan's voice from the stands, with your hosts, Marc Ernay and Sean Cassels. Our executive producer is Sue Zizza. Marc Ernay and Sean Cassels are co-producers. David Shin is our master engineer. Assistant producer, Avery Gehrig, and I'm Alicia Antwine. To be a guest on the Ultra World Podcast or learn all about sponsorship opportunities, send an email to ultraworldpod@gmail.com. Be sure to follow the show on all the social media platforms at Ultra World Pod. Copyright 2025. All rights reserved. Ultra World Podcast, LLC.